I am the cream of the crop. I am the yolk on top. Former VTuber, current human being? God, she's so pretty. Oh my god. It was back in early 2024 when I went to an idol concert in Japan on a whim because of my VTuber Oshi who graduated. Needless to say, I got hooked. I think we like idols. After meeting and talking to 2 English-speaking idols there, I realized every single idol has a story, be it why they chased this dream, their ups and downs, and even their future after all this. And that's what I'm here to do. To learn more about idol culture, listen and talk to idols around the world, be it from Australia to Japan to here in the US, and to give them a platform to tell their story. Every idol has a dream and a story to tell. This is IDOLEYEZ. Tonight, Fly Bat High, Chrysalia Never Dies. 1 year after debuting, visual-kei and vampiric singer Chrysalia joins the show. All Eyes on Me. IDOLEYEZ, episode 57. Chrysalia. Unmuting desktop audio. Now. Hello. Howdy.
Hello.
Well, welcome to IDOLEYEZ, episode 57. I am the cream of the crop. I am the yolk on top. This is Mighty Eggy Drago with our guest for tonight. They are a visual-kei vampiric singer. They represent San Antonio. They are a member of the San Antonio Spurs. This is Chrysalia. Pew 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 pew.
Hello, everyone.
Chrysalia, thank you for accepting this invitation to IDOLEYEZ on short notice. I appreciate it.
Yes, of course.
And I was very much. When did I first discover you? I think on Instagram. I think someone reposted. No, TikTok. It was TikTok. It was.
Oh.
I think one of your clips on TikTok was on my For You page. I'm like, oh, cool. I'll follow, and then. Yeah. And then I followed your IG and then everything happened. Yeah. And then I saw that you were debuting like an album and I was like, cool, I'll have you on the show someday. And that day is now. So.
Yes. Because I had been watching it for a while and I remember it was really funny. I was sitting there with my husband. We were just watching a show and I looked down at my phone to check my Instagram and stuff. And I saw your message and was like, fuck. Yes! Oh my god.
But let's start this episode with a question that I usually ask every single guest, and that is who or what got you into idol culture or J-pop culture, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, yeah, because for me, I originally got into VK first. I didn't find true J-pop or J-pop idols until high school or late middle school, early high school. Because originally I found anime, and it's kind of funny the way I found it. I was at my mom's house, and next to the toilet, she had one of those old magazine newspaper holders.
Right. And
I looked down and was like, "What is that?" And I pick up this book, and it was Naruto. And I had never seen manga or anime before, so I pick it up and I'm reading it backwards, of course. And I remember I need to look this up. So when I went back to school, I hopped on the computer and was like, "What is Naruto?" And it told me it was an anime, it was a manga, and I was like, "Ooh, anime! I can watch this? Okay." So then I looked up top 10 anime, and the first one that came up that caught my interest was Death Note. Oh. And for anyone that doesn't know Death Note, it is very, in my opinion, VK inspired because, the intro music and the outro, they're all by VK bands. The first intro, The World, was by Nightmare, and so was the second one, Illumina. Or wait, that was the outro, but the outro, Illumina, was by Nightmare. And then the second intro was by Oh my gosh, I sound like a fake fan right now. What's the name of that band? Ah,
Wasn't it Darren Gray? No, wait, no, 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 no.
no. I'm
What?
trying to remember right now. Oh, God. Ah,
Oh,
I can't remember.
it's
It's gonna
Maximum
come
the
up.
Hormone. Maximum Hormone.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Maximum Hormone. Yes. So I remember by watching Death Note, I found out about Nightmare and Maximum the Hormone, and because I was already emo at the time, like really heavy emo,
Right.
um, I found that music and was like, "There's metal music in different languages. What?" So I became obsessed with Death Note, became obsessed with Nightmare, the band, and from there I went on to discover more VK bands, like Duran Gray, The Gazette, Malice Miser, Versailles specifically stuck out to me because of their like Victorian-esque style. So I found all these other bands, and then I remember in late middle school when I had started watching a lot more anime, I found out about idols. And I had been into like K-pop a little bit, but this is coming from someone whose first introduction to K-pop was Gangnam Style. So I didn't know much about it, but I remember I discovered Kyari Pamyu Pamyu, I think is how you say her name,
Yeah.
from her song Pom Pom Pon, because everybody was like, "This is so annoying," and I was like, "What? Hold on." So then I went and listened to it and was like, "Oh, I'm obsessed now." So I think she was the first real idol I had seen. So from there, it just tumbled down, went downhill.
um. Wow. Usually people start off as fans. They get into the like the actual music. Sometimes they actually have like a favorite like band or like idol. Who would you say like getting into it would be like your favorite, either VK or like actual idol?
Mm. See, now, because everybody usually has like a Oshi, and I haven't found one yet that really like I've just become obsessed with. Um, but I think my favorite band, I've got a few. So of course, Nightmare, because they were the ones that got me into VK through Death Note. But I also really, really like a band called Sukekio. Um, their music has like different subgenres within it. Like they have a lot softer music. Like there's a song called Foster Mother that's really, really beautiful. I love it. But then they've got other stuff like there's a song called Leatherfield that is really like a lot harder than Foster Mother. So I love that they have all these different types of genres within their music while staying within VK. And they just sound weird. And I love bands that they don't sound like everybody else. They just sound weird. So I definitely think Nightmare and Sutekio are like my top two. Um, but then again, it sometimes I feel like a fake fan because I'm horrible with remembering names, and especially when the names are not in my primary language,
Right.
I have a hard time remembering like the names of the band members and things like that. So I know the singer for Nightmare is Yomi, and the singer for Sukekio is Kyo, and that's all I know. Like I couldn't tell you anybody else's names, and I feel so bad because I'm like always covering their songs, and then I feel like such a fake fan.
I think it's fine, like, cause like they are the front facing like members, you know. So,
Yeah.
um, so with that, getting into visual-kei, getting into some idols, what really pushed you to like be a person on stage, become an idol?
Mm. Well, I had always wanted to be a singer. Like we always joke that I came out of the womb singing. Like that's just it's always been something I've done. And I've always wanted to be a singer, but I've always had that really bad like anxiety that, oh, if I go up on stage, everybody's gonna kill me and I'm gonna die and it's gonna be the end of the world. And I've always just kind of lived with that mindset. Um, but I remember, oh, when was it? It was in high school. I had gone to an America's Got Talent audition, like just for fun. It was happening in San Antonio. My mom was like, "Let's go! Like it'll be fun." We went, and I remember the morning of, I had like chickened out, and finally, after a little while, I was like, "No, I'm gonna go. Like we're already here." So we went. I was so nervous. It was so bad. But everybody was really encouraging and really sweet. So I thought, well, if I could get through that, even though like I felt like I was dying and I totally didn't, like I was totally fine, I could probably think about getting on stage. So I remember I graduated high school and I was starting to get a lot more into VK, specifically wanting to write music. But I was like, man, I can't just release music and then not go perform it, right? Like
Right.
how would I do that? Um, so I remember one day, what I think it was Mochi Fest at the Traders Village here in San Antonio. Excuse me. I had gone just with some friends and I was watching the performances and I saw a group go on stage. And at the time, they were a duo, I think. They were just a duo. Um, but their group was called Barry Killa.
Ooh.
And I remember watching them with like just this awestruck moment because there were people in front of that. Like, I think one person that went before them was rapping, and then after that person was Barry Killa with like the metal vocals, and they were so adorable. And then after them was someone who was doing like cutesy dance covers, and I just could not stop thinking about them. I was like, oh my God, that was so cool. I want to do that, right? And I thought, I thought they were a lot younger than me. So I was like, okay, if these two younger kids can do this, why can I not do this, right?
Right.
So originally I had wanted to be in a group. And I don't think I ever told anyone this. The only people that know are Barry Killa, but they had opened auditions and I applied and I got in. So for like 2 weeks, maybe, I was a part of Barry Killa, but I never debuted
Oh.
because at the time I was working a normal job and then I was doing at home work, and I just would not have had time to fully dedicate myself to like dancing and singing and all that. So I was like, I'm just gonna let y'all go so that I don't bring y'all down. And it made me really sad because I was like, man, I don't want to get up there by myself. Like I wanted to be in a group. But afterwards, I ended up quitting my job. My at-home work was doing a lot better, so I was able to quit my job, and I was like, "Ooh, I have a lot more time now, but I can't just go back to Barry Killa after I left. Like that's
Right.
rude,
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I can do something by myself. So it was because of Barry Killa that I initially was like, I'm gonna do it. Like I need to just stop being scared and get my ass up there.
It's very interesting that usually it's either like other like big groups that like get people
Mhm.
on stage, but it was another like fellow, I guess, Kai Guy Idol group that got you on.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
yeah. So you were inspired by them, was a member
Hmm.
technically,
Yeah.
and then you were like, let's do this. So foundation of that.
Hmm.
So you are Chrysalia. How did you come up with
Hmm.
that stage name?
Um, how did this? Well, because okay, originally, um, I had a different character name, wasn't associated with my idol Sona or anything, but I was briefly a part of a maid cafe that me and an ex-friend were trying to start up at the time, and we were all supposed to be like mythical forest creatures, and I had chose a moth as my character. And I was thinking, what kind of name would fit a moth? And I was like, oh, well, they not a cocoon, a chrysalis, right? So I was like, okay, I'll name myself Chrysalis, Maid Chrysalis. But it fell apart. We never opened it or anything. And I had still really liked that name for whatever reason. It just stuck in my head. So when I decided that I was going to be an idol, I was like, well, I need an idol name. And I wanted something that sounded a little gothic. I didn't want anything that was super plain, you know? So I was like, wait a minute. I really liked that name Chrysalis, but I never did anything with it. So I was like, I can change it. So I changed it to Chrysalia. Um, it gave me like a vampire vibe for whatever reason. So then that's also what made me decide I was going to be a vampire because I was thinking, I wanted to do VK. I wanted to have a gothic, darker look and sound to my music. So the name was already a little like enchanting and dark. So changed Chrysalis to Chrysalia, and that's how it happened. Nothing super crazy.
It's a good evolution of the name. So
Yeah.
So, boom, got your name, got your concept, vampire. Did you take any inspiration from like the VK bands that you were listening to like take onto that concept?
Yes. Specifically, like for the vampire vibes, I really was taking inspiration from Versailles, they're a really popular band, and the main singer, Kamijo, he supposedly his character, he's supposed to be a vampire, and I mean, he probably might as well be because this man does not age like at all. He's so handsome. I love him. But for the vampire aesthetic, I took inspiration from them, which I haven't really been able to show off too much, like in terms of like my outfits and how I look, sadly. But I have my uniform coming in soon. It's being custom made, and it definitely leans more towards a Versailles kind of look. I think specifically the style is called tambike within Japan. So it's more of a Victorian, regal type look. But I think for the sound, like when it comes to my music, I take a lot of inspiration from a smaller band called Majestina Saga. I was actually doing a cover of one of their songs in the intro, like artist intro clip. It was the first one where I was like
high note
singing a high note, yeah. So that was one of their songs, and their lead singer is female, and I remember immediately just being drawn to them because her voice is just, oh, it's so good. So I think for my sound, I take a lot of inspiration from them, and I don't know, I get delusional sometimes because I'm like, they're a bit of a smaller band. I'm like, what are the chances that one day I could like perform with them? I don't think it would happen, but it's okay to be a little delusional, especially when I take inspo from them. I love them so much.
Sky's the limit, though.
Right? I mean, God, when was it? What event was it? I think it was Anime District. It was my first time going to one of their events at the mall, and well, you say sky's the limit, and I mean, I can only go up from here because I quite literally fell, like I tripped on my dress and I face planted to the ground.
No.
That was like the most embarrassing thing of my life. So I'm always joking, like, yep, I can only go up from here because I already hit the floor. I can't go under the floor. So you're right, sky's the limit.
So, boom, name, got the concept, and you have to make a debut as a singer, as an idol. So what con, or like how did you like find out like what con to apply for and like what event to like go to and everything, all that jazz?
Now, originally I had been very delulu and was getting my expectations up very high, considering I had never been to an event before. I hadn't debuted yet. I applied to San Japan, to the Idol Fest, and of course I did not get in. I mean, my tape for my audition tape was horrendous. It was my first time like recording a song. I had not mixed it well at all. It like my voice was lagging compared to the music. It was so bad. So no wonder they didn't take me. But afterwards, I was really sad. I was like, I'm never gonna debut like an idiot, you know. And so I remember seeing the Texas Idol Festival had auditions open for their Idol Fest at Delta HCon. And I was like, okay, Houston's a little farther, but maybe I can get into this one. So I sent them the same video. So I'm surprised they took me, but they did. I was like, how? But okay, cool. So I got into the Texas Idol Fest for Delta HCon, and that was where I debuted on July 13th, I think it was. Yeah. So I've been an idol for a year. Let's go.
Yeah. I think also Knife Pleat also debuted around June 2024. So Very much both of you celebrating 1 year anniversary, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, that was HCon. Boom. Chrysalia. What? How did you decide your set list for that show?
I didn't really put a lot of thought into it. Sadly, I just had like a list of songs that I knew I could sing. Um, and was like, okay, I need 3 songs from this list. And it was a list of like 5 songs. So I was like, I do not have a lot to choose from. So I think my set list was, what was it? It was Faust by Matinero Opera, which is another band I love. Oh, they're so amazing. So it's Faust. What's that song? Kiss of Death by Mika Nakashima. It's the Darling in the Franxx intro. I figured anime convention, I got to do anime song. And then I did Illumina by Nightmare to finish it off, which that whole performance was so embarrassing for me. It was so, like, in my point of view, it was so bad. It was my worst performance ever, but it was my first one.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a lot to go off of. Because number one, the room had an echo, and nobody could fix that. There was no way anybody could do anything. It's nobody's fault. So me having never performed before in front of like a huge audience like that with the microphones and everything, the echo was throwing me off. So I was super nervous. I was sweating bullets. Like, it was so bad. And then I remember my first song went pretty good, I think, but my second and my third were not that good, sadly, because I made a mistake with the timing of my like the background music and everything, because I remember I had everything just in one file, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give myself like 30 seconds here in order to like talk to the crowd and introduce myself and introduce the next song. Not enough time at all. So that was mistake number 1. And then like I had finished my first song and I was then talking to the audience. People kept clapping and I kept having to stop. So I didn't have enough time to finish my intro to the next song. So the next song started and I was like, oh no. So I had to stop talking and start singing. So that was awful. And it kind of just threw my whole rhythm off. And then I remember my third song, I had remembered the lyrics fully until that day. I had started forgetting them for whatever reason. And I told myself, I was like, okay, I, for the life of me, cannot remember these few lines. I need to think of what I'm going to do in case I forget them, like, on stage. So I remember I was singing and I was like, I cannot remember what comes after this. So I sang, what was it? Like, I forgot the words to this part. I am so sorry, but I sang it in tune.
I mean, it's a good
And I remember when I was like, oh God, this is so embarrassing. People are going to hate this. But people started cheering, which was really funny. I was like, no, don't cheer for that. That's awful. But I just kept forgetting lyrics, but at least I didn't go quiet was my thing. I was like, okay, I didn't go quiet. I kept talking at least. So the performance for me sucked because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't sound very good because I was very, very nervous. Like, my voice was really shaky and dry. But I remember during the meet and greet, I had a lot of people tell me that they didn't notice I messed up. And I'm like, okay, you have to be lying because I switched from Japanese to just plain English. Like, what do you mean you didn't notice? But thank you. But yeah, my debut wasn't that great. And also I had to dance, which I knew I had to. It's not like it was just shoved on me or anything. It was actually kind of funny because I learned the dance beforehand, like before I even knew I was going to get picked. So when I found out I was going to be a part of the Idol Fest, I was like, yes, I already know the song. I'm good to go. So I remember we got there, we were getting ready for like the sound check, rehearsal, all that. And this isn't talking bad about anyone that was a part of it. I just thought it was kind of funny because it was my debut and there was like so much going on in my head. And then this was just like, oh no. Because number one, I'm not a dancer. I'm not a good dancer, at least. I think anybody can dance, but I'm definitely not a good dancer. And I had learned this dance already, was ready to go. I was like, okay, even if I look bad, whatever. They'll probably stick me in the back, and that's fine. They stuck me right in the front because we were all trying to practice this dance together. And me and one other person, I think it was Haitian, I think you pronounce it Haitian Nation. She's the
Oh, yeah,
cow.
country idol. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, but it was me and her were the only ones that fully knew the dance. And I remember I feel so bad because Martha was like, "Come on, guys! Like you had a lot of time to learn this," and they were like, "We don't know the rest of the dance." They were like, "What do you mean you don't know the rest of the dance?" And I was like, "I know it." And Haitian Nation was like, "I do too." So they were like, "Okay, you two are in the front," and I was like, "No, please, no." And my biggest worry was I was in platform boots and I was like right on the edge of the stage and there were some spins and things I had to do. And I was like, please, please, VK God, whatever God is out there, do not let me fall off of this stage. I will die. Please, you can't do this to me. But I mean, the dance went fine. I was just really, really nervous. I still haven't seen the footage for it yet. So for all I know, I could probably look like shit. But I haven't seen it. So in my mind, it went fine. But the rest of my debut, like the singing and stuff, was dreadful. It was so bad.
I mean, if people went to your meet and greet and they're like, wow, like they didn't even notice you made a mistake, then that's good. And also, like, if it's your debut, I think it's expected that you're not going to be perfect. Like,
Yeah, and I think the meet and greet really put into perspective like my own insecurities versus what everybody else thought. Because I was like, I look terrible because I don't have my actual outfit yet. It didn't arrive in time. So I'm in my backup outfit. I'm sweating bullets. I'm so nervous. I made so many mistakes. And even with all that, people were super supportive. They were super sweet. Um, and that was my first time, of course, having a meet and greet. And I had never talked to so many people in one sitting. Like it felt weird because I remember my mom was with me and she was like helping me with my table. And my grandpa was also there and he was like sitting off in the back of the room. And my mom, like I was just like dead center, just paying attention to the people in front of me because there was so much going on. But I remember afterwards, my mom was like, "You had like a huge line of people waiting for you." And I was like, "No, no." And even my grandpa was like, "Yeah, there was people lined up waiting to see you." And I was like, I didn't understand how, because I was just like, I made so many mistakes. Like these people didn't know who I was until today. I did not give a good first impression, in my opinion. But people were definitely very, very supportive. So I think that meet and greet and my debut, as horrible as I thought it was, really put into perspective, like, as long as people think that I'm good, right? I'm fine. Because I will always think that I am just like horrible and I sound bad, whatever. But I mean, if someone's going to tell me that they enjoyed my performance, I'll be like, okay, I'll believe you. Because if I don't, my brain's going to eat itself.
I mean, yeah, but it is good that like you have fan support and also fan support on day one. They didn't know who you
I
are,
know.
and they're like
And
after
that's
this
what I was
performance.
like. I was like, what's happening? Why are you guys here? Like, this is so weird to me. But I'm still really, really grateful because, San Japan didn't take me. And I didn't really know, like, if I didn't have Delta H Con, I probably wouldn't have debuted at all. Because I really was getting in my head, like, it's just never going to happen. Like, they didn't take me for a reason. I'm just really bad. So thank you, Martha. I love you. Thank you for taking me, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Martha, former
Yes,
idolized
thank
guest.
you.
so, um, so debut, usually a lot of pressure on that. How did you feel
Mhm.
after like the second performance after debuting? What was that? How did you feel after that?
I was definitely a lot more comfortable, but my second performance was my first ever paid performance. So, and my only paid performance so
Ooh.
far. Yeah. So I hadn't had any events booked at all. I didn't apply to any conventions because I was like, okay, I need, I didn't have a lot of money and was like, I need to find one that's, worth it for me to spend the money to go. And sadly, I just couldn't find any at the time. But, excuse me, sorry. I got reached out to by oh, I can't remember their name right now, but they put on like small pop-up events and such, and I got contacted by them for an event called the Kawaii Cafe, which I already was like, Kawaii? Me?
You?
I don't think I fit here. Like, have you not seen my whole deal? But they had offered to pay me $100 to perform for 30 minutes. And I was like, awesome. I will do that. Money? Yes, please. So it was me and Midel Puga that were performing together. She had gone first, and then I went after, and I did a little collab song with her. So that was really fun. Um, but I think it was a lot better of a performance. It was the only thing that was wrong was that we didn't know how small this place would be because you think pop-up event, it's going to be small.
Right.
But this event was in a cafe that wasn't closed off for specifically this event. Like it was still normal operating hours. And they had a room in the back, I guess you could reserve for like a party or like a baby shower. It was pretty small. And they had wanted us to perform and do all of our stuff in this small room. And I'm talking it was smaller than my dining room. I'm in my
Oh.
dining room right now, and it was smaller than this. So, I mean, I know you can't see it, but it was so small. And me and Puga were just like, what do we do with this? Like, we've already been paid. We can't just leave. Um, and I remember originally we had tried to set up and sing towards like the cafe. But I also feel really bad because I wasn't thinking at the time, like, there's people in here studying, but I was like, I've been paid to perform, you know. I figured that people would know about this, but we were told, like, yeah, like, cafe is still operating normally. Like, these people are trying to study. Like, can you all just do it in that one room? And mind you, the room was smaller now because there were vendors. So there were two vendors, I think, on the back wall, and then two on each, like, there was two on one wall, and then me and Puga had our like shared table on one side. And so we were so crunched in, but even so, we kind of closed the doors like halfway so that the audio and like the sound wouldn't get out and like bother people. And we just sang in that tiny room. And even with all that, it was still really, really fun. Like I had a really good time. I had fun collaborating with her. Um, and it was a lot easier because I didn't have to move around. I just stood there. So made it a lot easier to sing instead of having to like take up room on a giant stage. Um, but it was definitely a lot easier than my debut because I had at least one event under my belt and was like, okay, I'll do this, this, and this different from my debut. And I actually took the time to memorize my lyrics fully. So
Pretty good. I mean, yeah, like when I was getting footage for your intro, I think, yeah, like the ending part was the Kawaii Cafe stuff. So it was like you could tell like it's very very crunched in. So
yeah, and the person that had filmed it, Second Torch Photography on Instagram, he had come to film it, right? And I was paying him, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't realize how small it was in here." So we were trying to like put the tripod as far away from me as we could, and the footage we have is as far away as it could be. And it was like right up like in my face from like my thighs up. It was insane. But I think with the smallness of the room, it felt a lot more intimate, almost like a smaller scale concert in Japan would
Oh,
be, you
yeah.
know? It just felt a lot more intimate. Everybody was like kind of huddled around. And at one point, I wasn't paying attention, but my husband told me after the fact that when I was singing, some of the workers from the kitchen, they had come out of the kitchen and crammed themselves in the door to look. And I have a bad habit of singing with my eyes closed a lot. So I wasn't paying attention. But I remember a few times I had looked over and was like, this is a fire hazard. Everybody's like crammed in the door. There's no room. It was really, really funny. But yeah, it was definitely a lot better than my debut by far.
Well, at least you were able to work with that space. So
Mm.
yeah. Boom, debut, second performance, and I would take it that like yeah, looking at the footage, it was all majority like covers, right?
Hmm.
Okay, so um, well, you are a singer songwriter, and you actually
Hmm.
have original music. So let's dive
Yes.
into that. And your first single that you officially released was Crimson Promise. That was Christmas Day on 2024. Um,
Hmm.
was that your first time writing lyrics for an original song, or did you have prior experience?
I had prior experience. I love writing lyrics, and sometimes I just do it like thinking about random things. So it's always been something I've done, just like singing, but I never was able to write something that I thought was good enough to be listened to and enjoyed by people. So I remember when like even before fully deciding to debut and be an idol, I knew I wanted to make original music, but I just didn't know what to write about until I started to create like the lore of my character. And I was like, okay, well, now I got to do something lore based so people know who I am. Um, but I had some other stuff written before Crimson Promise, like specifically my original debut song was supposed to be a song called Ayenni, so like forever. And I still have the lyrics for it. I could still do something with it. But I remember the original instrumental that I got for it sounded a lot like a Linkin Park type song, and that wasn't the vibe I was going for. So I was like, I can't use this. But maybe later on I'll do something with it. But yeah, Crimson Promise was my debut single. Um, and then when did I write one? We're not there yet. Ah, I'm
Yeah,
getting ahead of
let's
myself.
yeah let's get just focus on Christmas Promise first. so so not your first time writing songs, but is this your first time writing like lyrics that were in Japanese?
Yes. Well, A&E, the song that was supposed to be my debut song was half Japanese, half English. And I used it as like a learning type thing to see what I could really do because I'm not fluent in Japanese, but I've studied a total of like 3, 4 years. Like I took schooling from a language school in Japan, but I did it all online. So I've got my certificate for um, N4 and N3.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so I can write and read more than I can speak, though, because I don't know if you know, there are not a lot of Japanese people to speak to in the middle of nowhere in Texas. So I haven't had the chance really to like talk to people. So it was definitely a lot easier to write in Japanese, but then again, I'm not fluent. So my whole process really is I will start out with like one verse and I'll write it in English and then I'll go through and translate it, and then after I translate it, whether I'm using like just my noggin or I'm using like my textbooks, because sometimes I will go through my textbooks and be like, how do I conjugate this? How do I do this? Or sometimes I'll have to look up online, like, how do I do this? How do I say this? Um, I will translate the verse and then I will go back to the instrumental and try and fit it, rhythmically where it needs to go. Like, does it sound good? And if it doesn't, I'll have to go back and rewrite it in English and then retranslate it until it fits and sounds good with the music. So it's definitely a long process, and there's probably an easier way to do it, but until I'm fluent, this is just what I have to do. And I remember specifically for Crimson Promise, I have a friend in Japan that I talk to occasionally. Her name is Haru. Hi, Haru. You'll probably never see this. But I remember for some of the verses, I had gone to her, like, hey, does this sound natural? Like, does this sound too robotic? And she would tell me, like, it would sound better this way. Or if you fix this, whatever. So she helped me too. But it's a pretty lengthy process to write my songs. It sucks. It's my least favorite part now.
I can tell it's kind of difficult to like go like try to see like Japanese, try to see how it would fit, and then looking through stuff like that is a process, and the dedication. I mean, it does help because like Crimson Promise is your first single, and that was really good. So. Yeah, I didn't realize you were like N4 and N5. I like that's an accomplishment. So
thank you. Yeah, it just sucks because I can't really show it unless I'm like texting or I'm like reading something in front of you because you asked me to talk to you and I sound like a toddler. It's very, very sad.
No, I no.
Like,
I mean, I'm worse because I am worse. I had to. I did a meet and greet with like an idol a couple days ago, Japanese idol. Could not speak English. I had to go from English to Japanese, copy paste that into Romaji. I just had like a script. I'm like, I feel this is embarrassing, but this is how we gotta do it. So you're way better than me.
Oh, no. See, but it's to the point, like, have you seen that guy on TikTok where he's like, hey, can you record me? I'm sending a video to my mom. And he like eats the food. He's like, Konnichiwa warts. Like, warts. Sometimes I try to talk and I'm like, man, I sound like him.
No.
And then being from the South, like my accent will slip out and I'm like, Konnichiwa. Like, it's so bad. But I can sing though, so there's that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
at least.
I could tell. So, with Crimson Promise, with the lyrics, what were you trying to convey with that song?
Mainly, the song itself is about revenge. So I guess we'll do a little bit of a lore dump. So Chrysalia, as a character, she's a vampire, right? And she fell in love with a human woman named Versailles. And we don't see her name until my album, specifically in the song Sacrifice. Her name comes up in one of the growling, like the pre-chorus. And she fell in love with her, and Versailles' family were a family of vampire hunters. So she knew, if they find out about you, I can't keep you safe. Like, we got to run away. So Chrysalia and Versailles ran away. They lived up in this big castle together that was just abandoned. And on Christmas night, someone broke into the castle. And while Chrysalia was trying to escape with Versailles, up the castle, up to the top, the vampire hunter, who was someone from Versailles' family, came in, tried to kill Chrysalia, but Versailles jumped in the middle and got stabbed instead with a stake. So Crimson Promise talks about her seeking revenge for her. So it is Chrysalia's Crimson Promise to avenge her death and kill the person that killed her. So very much a sad song in terms of lyrics, but
I see. I
yeah.
I didn't expect yeah, there was an actual story. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
neat. So
yeah. And she's got more lore that is more dived into in the album because each song is about a different point in her life. And you're supposed to listen to them in a certain order, but they're not ordered like that in the album, like on the music platforms, because I'm an idiot and I didn't do it. So, but she definitely has a lengthy backstory, but people don't usually pay attention to that stuff. People usually don't care. So, I mean, like if someone asks me, I'll talk about it, but then I don't want to be someone that just lore dumps on people. So, for like TLDR, I'm just a vampire and I miss my dead wife.
it's very much eye catching. So,
Oh.
um, with Crimson Promise, did you have like any specific inspirations or like songs that you pulled from to like create like
Ah,
the whole thing?
I I don't know because I remember specifically like I was listening to a lot of Versailles while writing it, but then again, it doesn't really sound like them at all. So I don't really think I can say like I took inspiration from them. Um, because the only reason, like the way that I write my music and produce it is there's a guy that I get all my instrumentals from. His name is Jacob Lazote, and he has a studio called Dark Cabin Studios, and he just produces instrumentals, and he has them for sale. Like you can use them for whatever you want. And I remember I was scrolling through his catalog, and I mean, it's huge. He's got so many different subgenres within like metal and rock and everything. And I was listening, trying to find something that sounded like that just caught my attention. And I don't remember the original name for the track, but as soon as I heard it, I was like, that's Crimson Promise. That's the sound I'm looking for. So I don't think there was anyone that I took like specific inspiration from. I just found the instrumental and was like, that's the one. That's the one.
I get it though, cause like, who was it? Martha, with their, I think first original, they, like, I asked them like, did you take any inspiration? Cause like it's very much city pop, but I think they found like
Mm-hmm.
like an instrumental on YouTube that was like for use. So I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
cool. So sometimes you don't have to.
Yeah.
It's very resourceful that there's people selling like instrumentals and also like have stuff like on YouTube or whatever. So
Yeah, and because I remember, what is it? It's Crimson Promise, Sacrifice, and Marionette. Those instrumentals are by Jacob Lazote. Like those were other ones that I had found previously, and was like, I love how these sound, but I don't have anything written yet. Like, what am I going to use these for? But I bought them anyways, and was like, they're mine now, so I'll use them when I'm ready. And then Sentient Flesh and Asphalt were actually made by someone on YouTube. They were free to use. They were made by Anticon on YouTube. And I was kind of worried using them because I mean, it said free use, but after, I think it was like after 50,000 streams or something, you have to pay. I don't think I'll ever get that far, but if it does, I'll pay him. But I remember I emailed him and was like, hey, like, can I actually use these? Like, I'm getting ready to release these songs and I didn't hear anything. So I I guess it's okay, but we'll see. Yeah, but I usually go to Jacob Lazote for all my music. He's awesome. Go support him.
like I could tell like the instrumentals sound genuine and it's like, ooh,
Hmm.
this is good. Yeah. And
Yes.
coming from this scene, it's very, I guess like it's rare that people have metal. Usually it's like cutesy or kira kira or but like
Hmm.
so like diving into like that metal slash rock genre is good.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Hmm. I
Oh my
remember
god.
during.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Ashes, thank you for the raid. Currently, you are watching Idolize episode 57 with our guest for tonight, Chrysalia. Hi, Chrysalia.
hi. What does that mean?
So
What did they
so
do?
they were from a different stream, and then they just went into the stream. So there's 22 different people now watching
Oh,
you.
okay. I'm an old vampire. I don't know what any of this stuff means. So.
But hi, Ashes. Follow Chrysalia and stay here to listen to what they have to say about
Yes,
their idol journey. I was not expecting
yes,
raid, but
please stay.
yeah. What were we talking about? Sorry about that.
Uh,
Oh yeah,
I don't
the
know.
the metal. You don't really see metal in this scene, so I'm like, cool. This is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Because I remember at my debut, like during the meet and greet, I had a few people that were like, finally, visual-kei. Like, we've never seen that before at an Idol Fest. And I was like, really? Like, there's gotta be more. But I remember when I was looking around, specifically like San Antonio, like the Texas area, I couldn't find any either. And I mean, there's alternative idols. Like I found Barry Killa and was absolutely in love with them, right? But they weren't visual-kei. They were their own alternative, genre. So I think it is definitely refreshing that I'm starting to see more visual-kei people now. I'm not gonna say I started anything, but it's nice to see more.
Gotcha. So with Crimson Promise, that's out. Um,
Mhm.
2 months later, you release one that was in February
Yes.
2025.
Hmm.
With that like window, that 2 month window, did you work on
Hmm.
both songs at the same time, or was it like separately?
I did not. It was separate. So, when was it? No, no, it was. Hold on. I'm lying. Oh God, I'm trying to think because it's when did I start? See, because Crimson Promise came out on Christmas. Yeah, so I wrote Crimson Promise way before, like at the beginning of the year. Um, but I remember I didn't start posting on Instagram till like May, I think, and then I debuted on July 13th. And it was after my debut, actually, literally on the way home, that I started writing one because I just felt so much love from everybody there. And, the amount of support that they were showing me, I was like, man, maybe I can keep doing this, right? Maybe people will continue to support me. So it was literally on the ride home from Delta H Con. But yeah, I wrote Crimson Promise at the beginning of the year, but I didn't get to record it until the end of the year because I'm not tech savvy at all. And I had like a really cheap laptop. I had a good mic, but I didn't know that a condenser mic needed like a bunch of things to plug into things, and I didn't know how to use it. And my laptop just couldn't process it. So a lot of my audio was like clipping out and it sounded awful. So it wasn't till like at the end of the year, close to the end of the year, that I was able to get new laptop and everything and actually start recording it. So I started writing one way after.
Gotcha. So
Hmm.
that was also like another song that was with a backing with the same like person that you got from from oh Jesus, from Crimson Promise, or no? Oh wait. Okay.
No,
No.
it's okay.
Oh wait. No, yeah.
No,
No, I take that
no,
back.
no,
I
no,
take that
it's
back. I take
fine.
that back. I was like, oh,
Okay, well, I'll say a little bit. It's fine. The person that created the backing stuff was not a good person, and they are gone now, thankfully. So I don't even want to give them the recognition that they think they deserve. So that's all I'll say on that.
gotcha.
Um,
Cool.
they
Um,
created a banger, but they're not getting anything out of me.
gotcha. Um,
Sorry.
I take that back. I completely forgot about that.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Um. So what was the song like about? Like the lyrics.
Well, originally I didn't have a title for it um, because I was just writing it about like the love that I had felt from the people at my debut, cheering me on, the people that came to talk to me, people that bought merch. I felt so much love from them and was like, I need to do something with this. So I started writing it on the way home. And it's basically um, like when me and my fans are together, we're really strong together and our love for each other won't fade. and we are one. So when we're together, we're super strong. And I remember before it released, I think it was before, yeah, it was before it released. I came up with the name for my fans. Their name is Crystals. So if you're a fan of me, you're a crystal. I love you. But that also ties into the song because um, how does it go? I have an Instagram post for it, but it's we are all fragments that, when put together, are stronger than the toughest diamond. We are crystals, we are one. So the song is just about us being strong together and the love that I have for them. So really sappy.
I mean, it's good to have like a song dedicated to the fans for sure. I mean, like
Hmm.
with the album cover, it's just a tombstone with someone with a light stick, so that's cool.
Yeah, well, because I wanted it to sound more upbeat, I wanted it to be a more happy song, but I was thinking, it was like I was wanting something that would look good next to like the Crimson Promise album cover. Like I wanted all of my covers to kind of have the same vibe. So I originally had something that was really cutesy and was like, that looks weird right next to this. So I drew I thought it was cool, a zombie coming out of the grave with my pen light. I thought it was kind of funny.
Oh, you also like draw your album covers, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
I see.
Hmm.
Who else? I think yeah, Knifefleet, our last guest, also did like their own
Hmm.
artwork. So it's good that like you write lyrics, you draw. Oh wait, Pengi's also here. They also write lyrics and they
Oh,
also draw. That's cool.
hello. Thank you for coming.
So we love self-made idols, kind of. Technically self-made.
Mm,
So
yes. Self-made. Yes.
um, were there so like it's very much upbeat, very much in contrast with Crimson Promise.
Hmm.
Were there any other aspects that you wanted to like step to like make it more distinct from Crimson Promise?
Yes, I had been getting really upset that all I was doing was singing, and I know I'm not a dancer. I really wanted something that I could like wow the crowd with, I guess. Um, because of course a lot of the songs that I do are darker, and I also thought it would be funny to like, oh, I just growled and screamed in y'all's faces, but now I'm gonna like do a cutesy dance for you guys. So I thought I wanted something that sounded good and could also have a dance with it. Now it feels like a mistake because that dance takes so much out of me. It's so fast. I did this to myself though. So can't blame anyone but myself, but I definitely wanted something that sounded different and something that I could show to someone who wasn't super into like metal. Like, oh, that's not your vibe. I also do this. So I wanted something that was a little more like public friendly, I guess. So if I ever go to an event where they're like, your stuff's too hard, do you have anything else? I can at least have one other song that's mine and will probably, be good. So,
Gotcha. Sidetrack. You first performed one at the San Antonio Asian New Year's Festival. Correct.
yes.
Okay. So I did watch that. That performance was on your YouTube channel. You performed one,
Hmm.
performed several other tracks. But a little sidebar, you performed a very deep cut uh, of Miki Matsubara. Usually people cover "Stay with Me" from her.
Hmm.
You covered, I think, what is it called? Neat na Gogo Ichi
Yeah, Nathan Gogo
Sanji.
Sanji.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, deep cut. I was like, what?
Yeah, because anytime I bring her up or I bring up like City Pop, someone is always like, "Oh, stay with me." And surprisingly, that's one of her songs I can't sing. For whatever reason, she's too high pitched for what I can comfortably do. But that song is like Nito Nagogo Sanji is one of my favorite songs from her ever. And occasionally I will pull out like a city pop song or something else just to kind of take people by surprise. Because I want people to know that I don't just do rock. Like I do a lot of other types of music. So I like to throw stuff like that in there. Um, um, I also like Wash from her, but I don't think I've ever performed it yet. But I want to though. That song's really good.
But yeah, that performance was that set was really good, I'd say.
Thank you. It was just really weird because it wasn't an anime event. It was just the Asian New Year festival, and there were a lot of older people in the crowd. And I remember before I went on, I was like, and I don't want this to sound mean in any way, but I was like, this looks like a retirement home. Like I feel like they're not gonna like my music. I'm gonna be too heavy for them. I felt really scared. I was like, what if they don't like me? But even with that, it being an older crowd, they still resonated with it a lot better than I thought they would. They were still cheering and things like that. So it was definitely well received. I thought it wasn't going to be, but that was one of my favorite performances ever was the entire San Antonio Asian New Year Festival. That was so much fun. I can't wait till next year.
I could tell like when you were doing the Miki Matsubara song, like in the background there's like an older like a grandma just like vibing. So I was like, yeah.
Yes. Yes. I remember looking at some of the clips and some of them are just like seeing that, and it's so funny to see their reactions, especially when I do a lot of my like growling and stuff, because my previous uniform was like a black and red plaid like dress, and I'm all cutesy, whatever, and then I get up there and I sound completely different, and a lot of people are just like, "What is happening?"
Gotcha. So we did Crimson Promise, we did One, and then I guess now your creme de la creme was the album that you produced and released 2 months ago, which is Sacrifice. Sacrifice.
Yes.
Sak in Japanese character, and then Refice. Is there any reason why you did that?
Yes. So the title track, Sacrifice, what it's about, you're supposed to listen to it before Crimson Promise. So Sacrifice is actually talking about like the act of Versailles being murdered and me dealing with the emotions like in the moment, what's going on. But the reason it's called Sacrifice is because it's really sad and grim, but from her death, a new sort of love bloomed within Chrysalia, and it was the love of seeking revenge. So Saku in Japanese is to bloom like a flower, and then just refice, the last part of sacrifice. Okay. Yeah, so really the title, if you read it how it's supposed to be, is supposed to be blooming sacrifice, but I'm like, nobody's gonna do that. So it's just Sacrifice.
So, it's very much playing off of, I guess it's a prequel lore to Crimson Promise, for the most part.
Yeah.
When did you start working on those 4 tracks on the album?
I'm trying to remember because originally I was just working on Sacrifice just on its own. I didn't have any plans for an album. But then I was thinking, I've got all of this lore that I want to talk about and convey, and I can't just do it in one song. So I had to sit down and be like, okay, what are the main points that I want to talk about? And I settled on 4. So there's 4 songs on the album. Well, I guess technically it's an EP. Whatever. There's 4 songs on the album. And Sacrifice talks about Chrysalia's wife, girlfriend, Versailles dying. Marionette talks about her feeling like she's trapped and unable to really control the things that are going on in her life and all of her emotions after dealing with the death of this woman she loved so much. Asphalt, I don't know if I can even say it, talks about wanting to not be around anymore, we'll say, because you go from feeling so trapped and there's nothing you can do about it. So if there's nothing I can do, why be here anymore? So it's a very sad song. But then Sentient Flesh is a little different because, and this is something I haven't talked about before, but Chrysalia as a character, obviously she's a vampire. She wasn't always a vampire though. Originally, she was an angel that had a job in heaven of guarding like the Book of Life and the Book of Last Words. So she would sit there, someone would die, she would jot all of their last words down and all that. And she had started to feel human emotions. So she was like, all these people are dying and I just have to sit here and deal with it? Like, that sucks. And it was because of that, because she started, you know, having all of these human emotions that she wasn't supposed to have, God sent her down to earth and was like, okay, you want to be a human so bad? Here you go. And when she got to earth, she just could not fathom that she too was going to die someday. She just couldn't handle that. So she ended up finding someone who was a vampire, who agreed to turn her into a vampire if she killed him after. Because he was like, you're making a mistake. You don't want to live forever, dude. I promise you. But I'll do it for you if you end me. And she was like, okay, cool. I'm not listening to you, but I'll do it. So and then she became immortal, you know, vampire. And then that's when the rest of the stuff starts. So Sentient Flesh is specifically talking about her literally just being like yeeted out of heaven, and her like wings are burning off as she's like falling, and it's very much a grungy type vibe, like she's just burning up in the atmosphere as she's going down, and her having to like come to terms with what she's done because of all of this. So it's definitely something different from the vampire-y type stuff. So the whole album is just a lot. But I think I started, that was a whole tangent. I'm so sorry.
No, that's good. That's good. I was gonna ask about like each song, but like that's a good like, you know, thing.
Yeah, sorry. But I can't remember specifically like what month I had started writing everything. I think it was around the beginning of the year, because I was like, well, you know, I released something on Christmas. I released in February. I should probably release something soon to kind of keep it going. So I was writing Sacrifice, and then I started writing all of the other ones soon after. And then it released on May 25th. It released on my birthday.
Pretty good. I mean, good timing. What would you say was your favorite track to work on?
Ah, man. For me, it's the title track, Sacrifice, because there's some different elements in it that I had never tried before. Specifically, there's like this middle part in it where there's like dialogue, and it's supposed to be like my inner, like Chrysalia's inner voices talking to her. And like translated to English, it's like basically she's dead now. There's nothing you can do. And then you can hear me being like, no, like I can save her. She's not dead. And then you just have to accept this. You know, there's no going back from here. And I had never done something like that before. And it was kind of like a really slow rap type vibe. I thought it would sound cool. And I remember originally, showing it to my husband. He was like, this is really cringe. And I was like, no, please, I promise it gets better. But I had never done anything like that before. So I think that was my favorite one to work on. And especially that was my first song after Crimson Promise where I had gotten to do my own growling vocals. Because I remember when I was working on Crimson Promise, I hadn't growled before. I didn't know how, and I was scared to because I thought I would sound horrible. And so I paid this lovely lady, Carolina Padron. She's a part of a band called Tribute. I can't remember what country they're from, but they're from South America. And I remember I contacted her on Fiverr, and was like, I need growling vocals. I can't do them. So she very happily made the growling vocals for Crimson Promise. But when I had started performing, I started growling along with it. And eventually I gained enough confidence to be like, maybe I can like do my own for a song now. So Sacrifice was a lot of fun because I got to record my own growling. Um, and then, I'm trying to think because the Sacrifice was a lot of fun, but Asphalt was also a lot of fun, even though it's a very sad song, because I also had never done a song like that that was very like mellow. I'm so used to like just like spilling my voice everywhere. I'm very loud. Um, so having to like reel myself back and be quieter was difficult, but it was fun to do. So I think Sacrifice and Asphalt would have to be my two favorites that I worked on, but I love all of them. They're my babies. They're my written music babies. So
While you were working on the 4 tracks, were there any like specific artists that you were like listening to that like influenced how you wrote the songs?
um not specifically, but I was listening to a lot of like older emo bands in order to get a sound of like what kind of growling and things like that I wanted to do. So I was listening to a lot of old like Bring Me the Horizon, um, specifically. Uh, I don't know if I can say it, but they have an album called something season. I don't know if I can say the word before
Yeah,
it.
you're good.
Um,
Like,
okay, Suicide Season
yeah,
is
it's
the
fine.
name of the album. Okay, yeah. So I had been listening to a lot of that because a lot of his old vocals were very harsh and just like in your face. And I really wanted to go with that style because I also wasn't super refined yet in what I could do. So I was like, I'll try just kind of spitting it out there. And if it doesn't sound perfect, oh well, I'm going based off this other person who also doesn't sound perfect. So maybe it'll be fine. And I was also listening to a lot of Asking Alexandria.
Mm.
And they also, with their older tracks, were very just chaotic with a lot of their growling and the different styles. So they definitely helped me in figuring out like the technique and stuff like that with what I wanted to do specifically with the songs. But I don't think there were any like bands that I took inspiration from like the writing or the sound because I was scared of sounding too much like somebody
Yeah.
because I started out doing covers and there's a lot of other like songs and things that I can do where I sound pretty close to the other person and I didn't want to sound too reminiscent of someone else and then someone be like you're copying them. So I was trying to keep away from a lot of other bands that I really liked because I didn't want them to influence my music in a way that someone would be like, "Oh, this is an original. You sound like this other person." So,
I see. But it
mhm.
is good that like you are like doing the actual original stuff and like, you know, yeah, cool.
Mhm.
Um, Out of the 4 songs, what would be the one that you would show to someone that would be like that doesn't know who you are and like you want them to be maybe a fan?
Hmm. Um, I don't know because I think they all stand out pretty well, like in terms of how they sound compared to each other. So if let's say I'm trying to go to someone who's not super into like rock, maybe I might show them Asphalt because it's a lot softer, you know, kind of Deftones vibe maybe. But if someone were actually into metal and like, you know, knew their stuff, I guess, I think I would show Marionette. I think that one is my favorite to me in terms of how I sound. Because I'm someone I hear myself sing and I'm like, ugh, like I cringe. but that one is tolerable to me. So I think that would be the one that I would show someone if they were like, "What music do you do?" I'd be like, "Here you go."
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's it. I I think that's like the first time I'm asking like a question like that because like you have like enough of a discography that you could just pick and choose and like say like show whatever song to like anyone. So I see.
Yeah, because it changes though, because if I was just at an anime convention and, oh, you make music, what do you do? I'd probably show them one just because it's got more of a, like my husband's told me it sounds like a anime intro
Hmm.
type vibe. So I'd probably show like the majority of people one, but then again, that's not normally what I do in terms of my sound. So probably Marionette or Crimson Promise. I think Crimson Promise is my favorite though in terms of how I sound. So,
Gotcha. Well, for me, I
mm.
love Asphalt. Asphalt for some reason. Asphalt and Mariette really stuck out to me. Like I really like those
Mhm.
songs. So like yeah.
Thank you.
But like in general,
It's funny.
the whole EP is very good. So
Thank you. Yeah, Asphalt is my husband's favorite, which I'm always like, that's so funny to me because he doesn't know what I'm saying. And anytime I try to tell him what it's about, he's like, I don't care. And I'm just like, it's so sad though. But
um like you finished the product the project. Um were there any things that you wanted like did you want like more time on it? Did you want to have like an additional song? Was there like anything that you wanted to change? Anything like that?
originally, I wanted to have a really long song on it because I've always been someone who's been a fan of like 10-minute long songs where different segments sound like their own standalone tracks, you know? And I really wanted to do something with this one instrumental that I found from Jacob Lazote. If anyone here wants to look it up, the instrumental is called Motionless. So you can look up Jacob Lazote Motionless on YouTube. It's almost 10 minutes long. It's so cool. And I wanted to do something with that, but I was like, man, I'm already working on 4 songs. How am I going to work on literally like 5 more that are within this 10-minute instrumental? So I was like, I'll put it off. Maybe I'll do something with it later on. Um, I just didn't want to like overload myself because I had also never worked on that many tracks at once. Like every day I was going in between all 4 of them, translating the lyrics and trying to figure out uh, like how I wanted them to sound and all that stuff. So it was a lot already. And adding a 10-minute song would have just been too much. So hopefully I'm able to do something with that in the future. But I'm really sad I had to pull it because I really wanted it to be in there. Um, let's see. I guess I can say the title because I've got everything written out for it. The title of the track was going to be The Altar of Affliction.
Ooh.
So it was going to be a lot darker because the instrumental is like, I guess you could say like black metal,
Mm.
I guess you could say. It was going to be a lot heavier, but I just didn't have the time.
Gotcha. Well, maybe in the future, anything can
I
happen.
hope so.
But that sounds tough. Like five song segments in like a 10-minute like thing. That'd basically be another EP at that point.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So,
well, it is good that like you, and I guess yeah, you enjoyed like writing and like releasing these songs, these 4 tracks. But
yes, it
also,
was.
yeah. Oh, uh,
No, go ahead.
oh, but like with that EP, you also held a birthday bash slash release party for that.
Yes.
That was like a day after. No, the same
It
day.
was the day
Okay,
before.
day
It
before.
was the
Yeah,
day
yeah.
before.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because the album released on my birthday, May 25th, but I was like, who's going to come to a concert on a Sunday when they've got work on Monday, right? So I held it on the 24th, and then that way, maybe when people were on their way home, like I think the event ended around 11. So I was like, maybe if they're on their way home, it might upload a little bit beforehand and they can listen to it on the way home. So,
Gotcha. So, how was organizing that event? How did you find like a venue, and how did you find like other like performers for the event?
it was so hard because I am very much a perfectionist when it comes to things. Like if I could clone myself like five different clones to do everything, I would. It's not possible though. So having to plan all of this myself and then find like it wasn't super hard to find the performers. Um, but mainly just setting up like the schedules and everything like that was a little difficult for me. Because initially I had to find the venue and I was wanting an indoor venue because obviously May, it's very, very hot. And I didn't want my number one, I didn't want my performers to be uncomfortable, right? And especially since the ones that I chose, um, Mochi Cosplays, Barry Killa, and Kai Guy Kawaii Mai, um, they dance while they sing, and I didn't want them to be uncomfortable. So I tried looking for an indoor venue, and the cheapest one that I could find in the San Antonio area was going to be $7,000
What?
for the entire event. And it was because they had like a 4 hour minimum, and that's all I needed. I was like, okay, cool. But it was going to be like $7,000, which is absolutely insane. But mind you, they had like a screen projector and they had like a little bar area. But even with all of that, we would have to then hire someone to come work the music and the lights and everything. And then we'd have to hire someone to work the bar. But then again, I didn't want a bar because I have a lot of fans who are teenagers, and I didn't want to have something like that where teenagers could be present. So, as much as I wanted that venue, it was so cool. Couldn't do it. Way too expensive. We just couldn't afford it. So then I was like, okay, maybe I can find something free. And I remember someone had told me that the charity bar was originally free. So I contacted them, but they ended up starting to charge like a base rate for events like that because people had been canceling. So it's understandable. And it was a lot less than what the indoor venue was, but it's an outdoor venue. So we were already having to sacrifice, we're going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be very hot, which was making me almost want to cancel it because I didn't want people to get too hot and whatever. But we ended up going with them, and they were an amazing venue. They were so sweet. They were so amazing to work with. They provided like water and everything. They helped us clean up the venue. They were so amazing. So honestly, I couldn't have gone with anyone better. It just sucks that we were outside, in the heat. So hopefully if I ever do another like release party, we're going to do it in like the winter time because I'm not doing the summertime again. That was absolutely brutal. I'm surprised I didn't like blow up in the direct sunlight. So
Yeah, like
but
outdoor performances and when it's like during a heat wave or like when it's super hot is not that great, kind of. So
it was so awful. But the venue was very nice to us. They were very accommodating. So even with the heat and all that, it was such a wonderful time. It was just all the planning that made it really hard because it's only me. I don't have anyone really helping me. Um, so I had to come up with the schedules and all that. I had to figure out like how we were going to do audio. And then we had like a VIP package. I had to create the artwork for the print that came with the VIP package and had to gather all these things that we needed. So it was definitely hard as someone who is growing themselves and not a part of a company because I own Stake Records. I'm under Stake Records, so it's just me. It's not a company like some idols are under. So it was definitely really difficult, but it paid off. It was worth it. I thought it was going to go really bad. I thought nobody was going to show up, but we made profit.
ooh,
So
wow.
I was actually able to pay my performers and pay Deacon Rap, who kindly came and helped us out with the audio. So that made me really happy. I was able to pay the people for their work. Um, and Deacon really did save us. Oh my goodness, because I have a giant karaoke speaker and I had just gotten these new microphones, and for whatever reason, they just were not working. So we were setting up everything outside. The audio was just not working. And I contacted him and was like, hey, I am so sorry. I don't even know if I can pay you, but if you could please bring your DJ setup, and you don't even have to do anything, just set it up and I'll do the audio. Like, I'm doing it on my own. And he agreed. And I'm so happy that we made profit because I was able to pay him for his time, for helping us out like that. And then I was able to pay my performers. So it went very, very well for our first event that we put on.
Do you think you're gonna host more like events like that in the future?
Yes. So we already have another event in the works. We don't have a specific date for it yet because we still have a lot of planning to do. But I will say it is called Kawaii Connect. I know it's a little different, but it's specifically a J fashion oriented, all ages friendly event. So we're working on finding like a venue and things like that because it's going to be an all day function. We're going to have idol performances throughout the day, raffles, and then hopefully at the end we will have a J fashion show, and the winners will win some prizes that we'll pick out. So we definitely have stuff in the works, just no definite dates yet.
Gotcha. Well, it's good to hear that like your event actually made profit and like everyone got paid. So that's
yes, I was so happy.
Yeah, that's kind of rare, I'd say, to hear because like some events, has their ups and downs. So it's very good that yours went up. So
yeah, and especially for me, I always worry about everybody else. I didn't make money. The only money I made was for my merch, and that had to immediately go back into more merch. So I didn't make any profit, but I was able to pay everyone else. So that's what my worry was, and I was able to do it. So
cool. Well, we did your EP, we did the album release party. Might as well get into our final section, which is future/retrospect. As you started your, I guess, idol journey like last year, so 1 year into this, is there any bucket list goals that you want to achieve in the future?
I know the main one for me that feels really far off, like I don't think it'll ever happen. But I would like to be able to perform in Japan one day. And nothing big, nothing like, I'm not talking like Tokyo Dome or anything. I just want to have a proper traditional underground live, like alongside other bands, like I know at the beginning I talked about that smaller band, Majestina Saga. That would be the dream, to just perform at one of their events. That's the end goal. But on a smaller, more attainable scale, I would love to be a featured guest at a convention. So actually get invited and be a guest and have my own concert, similar to what like Paida and Barry, those bigger Kaigai idols, they get invited to these events, and that's the one thing that seems more attainable to me. It'll take some time, definitely, but that would be the dream, is to just keep being invited to conventions and having my own little performances and stuff, because I definitely have enough music now to have like an hour long performance, with some filler stuff in between, of course. So hopefully one day I get there. If there's any people that work with conventions watching, I am here. Please take me.
Like you've only done like events in state, right? Nothing like out of state. Okay, so
yeah, I've never been out of state. Truth be told, I have a fear of airplanes and flying, which a lot of people are like, that's funny because you're a vampire and you're supposed to be able to turn into a bat. And I'm like, well, this bat don't fly. Sorry. So it would be cool to be invited to a out-of-state convention, but I would have to drive,
right,
which I am more than prepared for. I love long trips. So I ain't getting on no plane.
Understandable. um, what would you consider your favorite performance that you've done?
By far, it would have to be the Kawakan Idol Fest, Kimi no Kawa. It was their first ever Idol Fest, and it was a really special one for me because Paida was the one hosting it. She was doing the emceeing. So it was really awesome to be able to meet her and work with her on a behind the scenes, you know, type thing. She was really sweet to work with. Love her. But technically, like technical wise, the performance went amazing. Um, I did all of my songs correctly. Everything went good. I didn't fall on my face. So it was all really good. And I walked off stage feeling very proud and happy that it went so well. And the meet and greet also did very, very good. I had a really good time talking to everybody, you know, taking photos and everything. And the only thing that was wrong, and it's nobody's fault, like nobody can fix this. It was the room, yet again, had a
Uh,
really big echo. And at the time, I didn't have an in ear yet. So that was the only thing that was like throwing me off. But I look at the footage and I'm like, okay, I sounded fine. Like there was a few little spots where I was off time. But besides that one little thing, the entire performance was amazing for me. So that's definitely one that I look back on like, okay, I need to do as good as this or better than this. So,
gotcha. In contrast to that, I don't know if you're gonna answer with an event that you talked about in length, but or another one that I don't know about. But what would you consider the toughest performance that you've done?
WeebCon,
Okay.
WeebCon Idol Fest. Like, yeah, like I've already talked about it on TikTok. If you want to go look at my TikTok, I have a whole thing on there. Um, I mean, the reason it was so bad, TLDR, miscommunication everywhere. None of us knew what was going on, and I had to cut my performance by one song, and they turned my in-ear off. So technically wise, it was very difficult. I couldn't hear myself. Um, I felt like I was very off time, and I didn't get to finish my set. So it really, really sucked. So,
Gotcha.
uh,
I do
yep.
recommend, watching that TikTok series because it was very interesting to hear. So,
Yeah, I don't wanna publicly shit talk on here. So yes, if you do want to know what happened, please go to my TikTok. It's Chrysalia_X. I have an entire like almost 10-minute long TikTok on there talking about it. Or if you're on Instagram, it is also under my reels. I have a 3-part series on there. You can also watch it there. It was a doozy for everyone that was a part of it. But I think considering everything that was going on, everybody did the best that they could. They all still did amazing. So I'm really proud of them for getting through it, because a lot of us had not met each other until that day. That's normally how it goes. But even through all of that, like during the event, we all just kind of like trauma bonded and we're helping each other through the chaos. So that one was definitely the hardest ever. I hope I never have to deal with something as difficult as that again. It definitely helped me gain more patience, though, I think, and learning that I just kind of have to push through things that I can't control. So it helped me with that, but uh,
gotcha. Um, is there anyone in the Kaigai Edo community that you look up to?
mm, I have a few, but they are very different in terms of like genre and things like that. So I really do look up to Paida because I believe she's from San Antonio or Houston. I can't remember, but she's from Texas. So being able to see someone from Texas achieve their dreams in the same way that I'm trying to, really helps me think that maybe I can do mine too. Maybe I'll get there one day because she did it. So hopefully, if I work hard enough, I'll get there one day. But I also really look up to Barry as well because for anyone that doesn't know, she went through so much
Yeah.
before she debuted as a solo idol, and seeing her turn such a bad situation into something that is, she's able to be an idol full time and do what she loves because of this bad situation really inspires me because I've definitely had my fair share of things happen where I felt, I'm not going to keep going. Like, how do I get past this? But seeing her be able to get past everything she went through and keep doing what she's doing, it really helps me think that maybe one day I'll get there.
Neat. Yeah, like I had Barry on the show, and like having them
Hmm.
like talk about everything was pretty eye catching. So, and I am planning to have Pida on. I don't know when, but I have to contact Pida.
Oh.
So whenever that happens. So maybe in the
Yeah,
future.
she's definitely very, very busy. So hopefully you can get her on soon, though, because I would love to see that.
Um, 1 year of experience on or like in the scene. Since we have
Mhm.
like people that are debuting, pre-debut, have already like have some miles in the scene. Do you have like any general advice that you would like tell an idol?
Yes. I think the main thing is even if you're just starting out, you haven't started yet, you need to know and realize what you're worth. Because even though you might not be a big name yet, there are a lot of conventions and people that will treat you like you're less because you maybe this is your first performance and you don't have any prior experience and they feel like they could just walk on you and treat you however terribly they want to. So even if you're not a big name out there yet, you need to know what you're worth and you need to be able to tell yourself, like, yeah, I want to perform, but this is just not worth it for me because I'm worth more than the experience that these people are trying to provide me. Because obviously I'm not huge yet either, but I've definitely had a lot of conventions try to treat me poorly or less than like the guests that they have just because I don't have my name out there yet. But that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're people and we're trying to do our best. And just because we're not a big name in the industry doesn't mean you can step on us and treat us like garbage? So definitely remember who you are, remember what you're worth, and be sure that no matter what happens, you know who you are. And if as long as you know, you will be able to get through anything that happens.
Solid advice. Like especially in this like industry slash scene, like you
Hmm.
definitely have to know like what you're worth. Especially
Hmm.
like I want to say like some idols are like some idols won't do like a performance unless they're paid, which is very much understandable. Or
Hmm.
if hotel and like transportation is paid,
Hmm.
so like it's very much understandable that like you have to know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
because hopefully I can get to that point one day, but I'm still not there yet. But that doesn't mean I have to take every single performance that could be given to me because I've definitely had some where I'm like I don't want to sound mean, but like, why am I here? And not in terms of like it being small or anything like that, but it's the way that they treat their talent. It's like I could do better somewhere else. And so I definitely think when you're starting out your career, don't try and just take every single, convention or show. Like you should definitely look into like past performances at these conventions and see maybe how these other idols were treated so you know whether or not it's worth your time. So,
neat. Yeah. What else do I have? How long do you want to? What else do I have? How long do you want to keep at this like career?
I was born a singer. Like I said, I came out the womb hooting and hollering. and hopefully I will go into the grave hootin' and hollerin'. So I would like to do it as long as I can. Um, Considering I already have arthritis,
Ooh,
I don't know how much longer that will be. But hopefully, if I could, in a perfect world, I would, my whole life, I would be an idol. Even if I'm up there old and wrinkly in a cute uniform, that's fine with me. But yeah, hopefully, as long as I'm alive, I will be an idol.
gotcha. I think that's like mostly everyone's like majority opinion is like they want to keep at it until you know until they can't. So
Yeah, yeah, because I've seen a lot of people, like I've seen people say like they have like a 5 to 10 year plan, and then they're like, once I reach a certain age, I'm cutting it off, like I'm done. But I think I could still be up there screaming and singing when I'm like 75. So if that's the case, I'll keep on doing it, or maybe if one day I get burnt out, then I'll quit. But you just never know what's going to happen in the future. So hopefully, I will be doing it for a long time to come.
gotcha. Well, in the chat, OMG, it's Barry says Hag Idols Unite. So
Yeah.
I, and also Doki says like 85-year-old idol for the win. So yeah.
Yes, I'll be up there with my walker, still singing.
um
Oh.
if you could go back in time, current you go back in time, what would you tell like the Chrysalia that was about to debut?
So much that I probably can't say here. But what I will say is, I had dealt with anxiety for a long time. And throughout middle school, high school, I was medicated. But once I graduated, I was like, I don't need this anymore. And as soon as I realized I was going to be hitting the stage, I was in shambles. And for my first few performances, you could definitely tell like my voice was shaky. I didn't sound my best because I was so nervous. So I would definitely go back in time and just like grab them by the shoulders and be like, get back on your meds, because it's such a wonderful change. Now being back on my anxiety meds, I'm able to get up on stage and fully be myself without having that crippling fear of I'm going to fall and die, or I'm going to forget my lyrics and die, and all these other things just going through my head. So it's definitely been a lifesaver for me. So if you're someone who deals with anxiety, you might just need to be medicated. And a lot of people say that's cheating. I don't care though. They helped me. So, like, I would not be able to be up there having as good of a time and giving as good of a performance as I could without my meds. So I know that's not, usually people are like, I would go back and tell them not to be scared, like chase your dreams. But no, I'm like, get back on your meds because it's going to help you, I promise.
I mean, it is realistic, and like also, yeah, it definitely helps as someone who has to
Yes.
take medication for stuff. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
I think this concludes this interview, but there's like one more segment
Oh,
that we have to do,
oh,
and it's
okay.
I don't know why we keep doing this, but it's called the worst pep talk ever, where
Oh,
I have to for 1 minute give you the guest a pep talk for 1 minute. So
I'm ready.
is that? Oh, I didn't press it. All right, Chrysalia,
Oh.
keep making more music. I want more original stuff. I love your music. My God, it's such a unique thing to hear, like metal / rock in this scene, when it's usually something else. And it's good that like there's also more alt idols in the scene. So my God, I just want more music. Make more music.
Thank you.
No,
I
no.
love it.
um,
I'm on my way to the studio right now.
I do love your voice. I do love from the performance that I've seen on YouTube, like how you perform. Uh, like I know like there's self doubt and whatever, but like you are a great performer, and I want you to keep on going at it. What else? Honestly, just keep doing what you got to do. I just want to hear more music. That's all I want. And also, I
I
want to see you.
promise I have more.
And I also do want to like see you perform IRL. I don't know, out of state, or if I ever go to Texas or San Antonio. So, yeah, that's
Yes, please come to Texas. Or if you have a convention near you where you want to see me, just spam them and tell them you want me there.
all. All right, that has been a minute, and I think one last thing. You're technically on hiatus, right?
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Do you have like any planned performances whenever, or like any new songs in the works?
Yes. So I do have two new songs in the works. I can't say anything right now. Um, and I do have two confirmed performances and I have a comeback date. So I can't say the event yet, but I will be making my official comeback performance on October 25th.
Ooh.
So mark your calendars. That is when I will be coming back. I will be re-debuting with my new original Idol uniform. So it will be awesome. October 25th. That's when I'm coming back.
All right. I can't wait for that. That's my birthday month. So neat.
Ah!
Yeah. Well, that is it for this episode of IDOLEYEZ. But keeping in spirit of last week, we're just gonna keep doing weekly IDOLEYEZes until I burn out. So next week, we have, I guess we're starting a little like Aussie Open / Brisbane arc. We have Cassie-sama. Cassie-sama is an idol from Brisbane, Australia. We did last year Sydney, Australia, so we're just moving to Brisbane, Australia to focus on their idols. So Cassie-sama recently released an EP, had a mini concert release party, just like you. So yeah, we're gonna have them on. I think, yeah, that is Friday, August 1st in the US, which is Saturday, August 2nd in Australia. So yeah, look forward to that. Yeah, neat. And if
thank you so much.
No, you first.
No, I was just gonna say thank you so much for having me on because I had been watching it for the longest time and was like, finally, I'm here. I've accomplished it. Yay. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for accepting this invitation on very short notice because I was planning to have someone else, like a couple other guests, but like that kind of fell through because of scheduling. So I was like, okay, I gotta rush and find someone.
Totally get it. Totally fine. I was ready and I'm so glad I was able to be here. I've had so much fun.
I mean, yeah, I really enjoyed talking to you. So pretty much, I'd say like a really good episode. So yeah.
Yay!
What else? What was I gonna say? Oh, if you missed any part of this episode, this will be uploaded tomorrow on the IDOLEYEZ VOD channel, probably around 2 p.m. CST. So look forward to that. I'll promote it. Probably Chrysalia will promote it.
Yes, I will.
Perform it. Yeah, my God. Promote it. So yeah, look forward to that. And that has been it for this episode of IDOLEYEZ. Take care, brush hair, be kind, and rewind. Where's my ending screen? Oh, there it is. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.